Sergey Kovalev now blames his quick turnaround from the Anthony Yarde fight to the Canelo fight for how he felt versus Canelo. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, Canelo Alvarez became a 4-division champion against Sergey Kovalev. Post-fight, Sergey Kovalev says, and you'll see on screen, "I was tired after round 6 because I just had my last fight very close to this one, but it's okay. It's a new experience for me." Canelo is a really great champion. A little bit right now. I didn't recover from my last fight, but it's okay. Thanks for the fight, Canelo. I have big respect for him. He made history. He says, "I will be back. I'll be back much stronger. I know that I could be a unified champion. Let's make a unification fight, but nobody wants to fight me in my division. This guy is more fresh. He came into my division more fresh. He has more stamina, but it's okay. It's a good experience for me." And I think this is interesting, and nobody else is talking about it, so leave it to me, new media. Now, once again, before the outcome of the fight, if you go look at my content, the video's still up, the live streams, everything. I told you that this fight with Kovalev was an advanced cherry pick, and I told you that I believed that Kovalev was no longer the crusher. Andre Ward later said that on my channel as well. And that the quick turnaround with Anthony Yarde, that fight, how taxing it was going to be tough. And I remember on my channel, and I know for my day ones, the people that listen to me pretty regularly, I remember specifically saying this. And put in the comment section, if you guys remember me saying this, just put in the comment section like, okay, I remember, right? But those can attest that I specifically said with the Yarde fight quick turnaround, he narrowly escaped out of the 8th round. You know, his corner was threatening, Buddy McGirt was threatening to, you know, throw in the towel if he's seen more damage like that, because he just had a fight or die, Maxim Dadashev, in his fight, and it was a bad round. Kovalev later would lie and say he was never hurt by Anthony Yarde, but you know, your corner doesn't just see what the whole world see and see Kovalev stumbling about. And I said to you guys, I don't think Crusher's the same. And at age 36, how many times are you going to keep going through that where you get wildly hurt and you know, you just recover and come back and stop the person? You know, this is not a video game, create a player, Rocky movie or anything. And I specifically told you. So for these multitudes of reasons, that's why it was an advanced cherry pick. I specifically said these things. Now you have Kovalev, who is weird. He's so accepting of this loss, but seemed to have hated the Andre Ward loss and the leader Alvarez and had this chip on his shoulder and seemed angry with those losses. But now he's, you know, so quick to give Canelo, who moved up, which is more embarrassing, you know, a guy moving up 15 pounds to stop you than people who are, you know, had a couple tune-ups or more your size, gold medalists like Andre Ward. But for whatever reason, he's very forgiving. He gave Canelo his props, but he did bring up, "I got tired after round 6. This is what he said. And all he was doing was jabbing. So he wasn't even throwing mad power punches, but he got tired. You know, he wasn't committing to throwing with crazy conviction, but he's admitting he got tired, and he now attributes it to a short turnaround from the fight with Anthony Yarde. Now, if you don't think any of these things play a part in the fight, right, then why do they need to be done? Listen, Canelo is going to continue to be under the microscope with new media around, and people like Eric Morales and Julio Cesar Chavez and, you know, Juan Manuel Marquez. People will continue to be critical with Canelo with all these random, you know, just overkill with the strategic advantages. Canelo is a really good fighter. You know, what if he could beat Kovalev as is, straight up, head on, give him adequate time to rest? Then nobody has anything to say. For example, if he would have fought him in February instead, Kovalev literally had like 5 weeks to train. The fight, I looked it up. The fight was announced on September 13th, right? His fight with Anthony Yarde was August 24th. So it wasn't immediately Canelo got in the ring and they announced Kovalev Canelo. They still had to negotiate a little bit. They came to terms and it was announced by September 13th or 14th. So you do the math. You take about a week off because they had to promote the fight. You know, they did like a LA press tour stop. And then that's why you notice the fight came quicker, you know, pretty quick from when it was announced to when it happened. Meanwhile, Canelo has rested since May. These things obviously play a part. Rehydration clause and all these different things. These are obviously strategic advantages that they know will be an advantage. You've seen Kovalev, rehydration clause. You know, you've seen Kovalev miss weigh-in and had a weigh-in naked 3 times. Probably because you had a quick turnaround. You didn't give yourself time to rest. You might have been on vacation and you had to jump right back in camp. How motivated are you at age 36 after a rough fight with Anthony Yarde? So the walls are closing in, and I think Canelo in his victories and stuff with judges, you know, weird, wonky judge scorecards and stuff like that, he's going to continue to be a target. There are plenty of people in or around his division because he's fighting in 3 of them where he's the champion. There are plenty of people in or around his division where if you were to beat them, let's say in March, there's nothing that anyone could do to even make an excuse, like Artur Beterbiev. Canelo's team said they're willing to fight Artur Beterbiev, right? They said, oh, Kovalev's the best in the division, which based on his performance last week, he's not the best. I think Beterbiev would have slaughtered Kovalev the way he looked. You know, he didn't look fresh. He looked like a shell of his former self, you know. And I'm not even talking about the event as a whole with the UFC 244 playing, you know, just the whole event. But the bottom line is this. What excuse could anyone make for a 2-belt champion like Artur Beterbiev if Canelo fights him, no rehydration clause, gives him time to rest from his last fight, you know, and just simple parameters? Canelo is bringing the people, like the Canelo man fans keep saying like, oh, you're hating on Canelo. Canelo is bringing the criticism on himself, and I think people are opening up to it, and old media is getting scared because they can't stop this. They can't stop new media, and they see it. People are catching on. It always seems to be these certain clauses and short, quick turnaround only for him. Like, why doesn't Canelo fight Jermall Charlo with the 5-week turnaround? You know, it's Canelo's never at a disadvantage, and I get it. I understand the A-sideness, but there's other advantages. Walk out second, pick the ring size, you know, have your name top billing, stuff like that. There's other ways to get the lion's share, $35 million, and this guy's only getting X amount of dollars. So there's plenty of other ways to A-side people, you know. But with these, it's like almost a foolproof plan that Golden Boy is trying to utilize to protect their last remaining cash cow, and I think people see it. He's being called out by Jermall Charlo, WBC champion at 60. He's been called out by him, been called out by Demetrius Andrade, you know, WBO champion at 160. He just got called out. Sky Sports, I made a video about Caleb Smith, the guy that knocked out Rocky Fielding before Canelo, which is his 3rd division that he's conquered. You know, you got Caleb Plant. You got David Benavidez, who's talked about he would fight Canelo, right? You got real great champions. You got Bevo, who even said, I'll drop to 160 for you. You know, or actually he said 68, excuse me. He said, I'll come to 68 for you. Canelo's fluctuating his weight in between 3 divisions. Bevo's an option, undefeated. These guys are all undefeated. Everyone I name right now is undefeated, right? You have Zurdo Ramirez. That would be a great battle. 6'2.5" Mexican from Mexico. That would be a great fight for Cinco de Mayo weekend. And Zurdo keeps calling him out and has been calling him out for years. And that would be a great, especially for, you know, you're looking for 2 Mexicans. I think Zurdo Ramirez versus Canelo is a better fight than Jaime Munguia, because Jaime Munguia I don't think he's ready for Canelo. You see what I'm saying? Zurdo Ramirez would be a better fight, and he's at 175 already. Jaime's at 154 and Canelo's all the way at 75. And, you know, I don't think Jaime has the experience. So that would be a great Cinco de Mayo fight. Artur Beterbiev look great. No one's going to make excuses if he beats these guys. These are all undefeated guys, former champion, current champion, stuff like that. Meanwhile, Kovalev nearly got stopped in his last fight, and then people wonder why you can't give Canelo 100% full credit and be like, oh, damn, he did that. Especially with rehydration clauses, can't make weight, quick turnarounds. You know, people see it. So I can't wait to see what Canelo decides. If he fights Golovkin next, then that's going to supplement and corroborate everything that I've been saying. Golovkin is 36, and he looked pretty shitty versus Sergey Derevchenko, and I thought he lost that fight. So all of a sudden, you say you didn't want to fight him. If you fight him at age 37, who looked bad in his last fight, and a lot of people feel this way and feel that Derevchenko was robbed and should have won, instead of fighting one of these young, hungry lions that are all undefeated. Golovkin is no longer undefeated, and after the Derevchenko, he really shouldn't be undefeated. Before, people were saying that Canelo, you know, lost one or two of the fights, so he should have been undefeated. But the Derevchenko, he definitely shouldn't be undefeated. So why do we want to see him versus a 37-year-old? So if this is who he picks, that's going to prove what me and Eric Morales and other people in new media have caught on to for a while. You know, so hopefully Team Canelo enjoys their victory and makes the right decision. He's the face of boxing. And that's the funny thing. When I make videos about Canelo, he just fought. There's a lot to talk about. He's the face of boxing. They say he's the biggest star in boxing, but then you make a video and talk about the latest news. They blame me because Dimitri Bivol said something. They blame me because Caleb Smith called him out. I'm talking about the current events like I always do, you know. And, oh, stop crying. How am I crying? Because I'm reporting what the current news from the face of boxing. You can't have it both ways. Canelo's the face of boxing, but you don't want people to cover him, you know. So nonetheless, we'll see what Canelo decides after he rests up. Obviously, he's not fighting for the remainder of the year, but 2020, you know, I look forward to, if he comes back on Cinco de Mayo, I look forward to him making a great big fight with somebody who's under 33, because everybody from that I named, Caleb Smith, Demetrius Andrade, Charlo, all these classy, you know, names and shit, I think they're all under. There's not that many people 35 or older for him to fight, except for Golovkin. So if he chooses out of all of the young spring chickens that need to prove, see, and this is bigger than Canelo. This is about boxing. I need to see what Charlo's made of. I need to see Demetrius Andrade at the highest level. Canelo's a great fighter, so that would prove it. I need to see Caleb Smith beat George Groves, but Badu Jack had been beat him. Carl Froch already stopped him twice. So to me, I need to learn more about Caleb Smith. That's the type of fight where I would learn about Caleb Smith, because Canelo can scrap. You know, at the end of the day, people are so tribal and they treat this like gangbanging. So they're like, oh, no, you said something bad about Canelo. No, it's not about that. It's about boxing. I need to see what these guys are talking about. I want to see Better Beer versus someone I respect like Canelo. You know, I want to see Caleb Smith against his biggest challenge like Canelo. How does he deal with that style? You know, and may the best man win. Let's get to it. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.